Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got a smile on my face as big as a cat's, if they can smile big, because I tell you what, this is Football Heritage Part 2. It's PSG at Munich. I mean, you know what, I don't, there are no words for last week. It was absolutely incredible, wasn't it? It was why we love this game. And I think that somebody said to me today, do you think it will live up to last week? And I said, of course it bloody will. We might not get 9 goals, but it will still be a bloody great game because they're just both fantastic teams. And I think even if this was 0-0, they'd both hit the post 20 times or something like that. I mean, look at the stadium there. It's a shame we can't show you the match footage like we do for the Bundesliga because it's an incredible stadium. And it is an incredible stadium. I don't know what the capacity of the Allianz is, but it just looks incredible. And I mean, they're going to create an atmosphere here. Look, yeah, there was an atmosphere at the Emirates last night, but this is just something else. It gets the necks up on the back of your hair, gets the hairs up on the back of your neck. But like 75,000, it looks more. I mean, 75,000 is Old Trafford, and maybe because it's just different, it looks like there's more fans there. It's incredible that that's only the same as Old Trafford. It looks a lot bigger, but it does look magnificent, like Louise says. And I think we're going to get a magnificent game of football. I can't praise these two clubs enough. I can't. And obviously that comes down to the managers and the players. But what they gave us last week restored my faith in football. And not just the Premier League this season. I think we do see a lot of shit football these days. Slow football, stop-start football, lack of flair, lack of individuality, pragmatic football. And I think last week, it just... and PSG last season as well did do it. But I think that game last week just showed me that this brilliant, beautiful game can be beautiful. And I'm very, very excited about it. Marge, you are the first super chat today. It says, today I'm football. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you are new. The reason I say that is we're on 472,922. So we're only 80 subscribers away from 473,000. So get involved with That's Football. We're live every match day. And, well, it depends what match it is. But we are live tomorrow as well for Villa against Forest, which will be a different atmosphere, but with a different prize. Europa League final up for grabs there. But this is for a place in the final in Budapest at the end of the month against Arsenal. That's what this is for. Who do you think is going to win? Says Constantine. I'm literally going to start a poll. Who goes through? I'm going Bayern. But remember, they are a goal down. And in a game like this, that is an advantage. It certainly is. Thanks for your super chat, Constantine. I hope you're doing very well. Thanks for coming over from the United Stand. Please do share the video, by the way, because I think this is a footballing message as much as it's football heritage. 25,000 was our peak last week. Arsenal game hit 22, I think. So 20,000 last night was the peak on the Arsenal game. I want this to go higher. Not because I don't like Arsenal and Atletico, but because this is the football that people should be watching. This is what football is. So make sure you share the video. Get involved. Thank you, everybody. And fasten your seatbelts. The players are about to come out. We've not actually done the team news yet. I will just run through that for you whilst they walk out. PSG, Bayern Munich are the home side. Neuer, Stanisic, Tar, Upamecano, and Lema. Kimmich, Pavlovic, Musiala, Elise, Diaz, Kane. On the bench, they've got Davies, Goretzka, Carl is on the bench as well. Good young player. PSG, Savinov, Zaire Emery at right back. Hakimi, I think, is injured. He's not on the bench, so I think he picked up an injury in the last game. I don't know how severe that is. I don't know whether his World Cup's in any danger. In fact, I probably should just check on that, because that is a loss. He's got a right thigh injury. And it's a serious muscle injury that could keep him out. It could be out for several weeks. And he might not be available for the final even if they get there. So it's Zaire-Emery at right back. That's one to watch out for against Diaz. Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes. João Neves, Vitinha and Ruiz. They're playing it back a year to their midfield now because Zaire-Emery has moved out for Ruiz. And then it's Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia, which is what you would expect, to be honest. Don't forget Barcola on the bench. He can come on. So, look, I think Bayern win it. That's my feeling. I think Bayern win it. But, you know, it's certainly very possible that PSG... And remember, PSG were 5-2 up at one point last week. And it did feel like it might be over. And I think Bayern did a great job to get back. So, yeah, keep an eye on that one for sure. Players just lining up here. Make sure you share the video. This is going to go off like a bottle of pop. Bayern Munich versus PSG. You can tell I'm typing that. In the poll, 63% are Bayern at the moment to go through and 37% at PSG. What did you think about Saka when he said, I think you all know who we want in the final, but I'm not going to say? I didn't really understand... I didn't really understand what he was talking about, really. Maybe because they'd beaten Bayern before. But I didn't massively understand in what sense he was talking, if I'm being completely honest. But let me know. Let me know. Okay. I don't think these two teams are capable of playing reserved football. Bayern have to attack as well. Like, I heard someone saying today, I bet it'll be a 0-0. And I was like, wash your mouth out with soap and get out! Get out! You know? Because there ain't no way this game is going to be 0-0 because Bayern are going to attack. I think if Bayern were winning, you might have a different approach, but Bayern have to attack. As I said, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. PSG knocked Arsenal out last year. Maybe it's that one, Nagash, yes. The main event, the football we love and enjoy. This will be epic as we're live and direct this Wednesday to say hi to Mark and the United States and the That's Football team. Hope well and had a good day. You too, Daniel, you legend. Have you seen David Beckham's watch-alongs on CBS? I would pay anything to see you with him, says Gunnar. Well, we don't get to watch it because it's US gatekeeped. But I watched a little bit of a clip of it. I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. I mean, that would be football heritage for me, to sit and watch a game with David Beckham. But he tends to choose people who are famous Hollywood stars or Messi, so it probably never happened. Is Company a good coach or product of the players? I feel like any coach could be good there. I think that's unfair. I think Vincent Kompany at Burnley definitely had a distinctive style of play that didn't work in the Premier League but smashed the Championship apart. So he didn't have players good enough for the Premier League. And I think at Bayern, he has got players good enough. You could possibly say that it doesn't matter who the manager is because he's managing Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. But this is the Champions League. And Bayern Munich don't win the Champions League every year. So, the main event, the football we love and enjoy, says Daniel. Thank you very much. We're up and running anyway. Imagine if we replace Casemiro with Kimmich, says Juan. Won't happen. Won't happen. Rajaf says, I want PSG to go through because I believe they will destroy Arsenal. Arsenal have a psychological advantage over Bayern. I don't think they do. I don't think they do have a psychological over Bayern because I think Bayern's new kit is fire. You know what? I've not even looked at the new kit. It is a new kit, isn't it? I have got the old kit. I've got a Harry Kane. As part of our Bundesliga deal, they sent me this. A Harry Kane signed shirt in the old kit. So it's definitely a new kit. That's football heritage, you see. Am I supporting Bayern because of that? You're bloody right, I am. No, I want Bayern to win because I think it's great for Harry Kane, but it's great for English football. If Harry Kane, wins the Champions League. I mean, look, I was one of the people who used to take the piss out of him at Spurs. But if you put a Spurs shirt on, you're going to get the piss taken out of you. Just ask KSI. But in a Bayern shirt, I think he's been absolutely class. PSG have started off quite well here. Here's Elise, though, down that right-hand side. And referee's letting the game go. I like this. We've got a ref. We've got a ref. Kane against Arsenal in the final as well, yeah. Rival fans crying Arsenal in the final. Hilarious, says Artistic. I don't know why people are crying. I mean, they were always going to get to the final, really, when you look at it on paper. This is a good breakaway, though. Bayern, PSG are in with Kvaratskhelia down the left-hand side. Just needs to cut this back. That's a goal. Oh, my God. What a start. What a start. What a start. Dembele, 1-0. Is it over? Unbelievable start. Bayern Munich, defensively, this is probably why Arsenal want to play them. I mean, it was just too easy. Way too easy. Kvaratskhelia gets in down the left-hand side. He just had to make the cutback, and it was a very good cutback. But look at how exposed Bayern are here. Upamecano gets pulled out of position terribly. Doesn't have the legs to get back. And where's the Bayern Munich midfield? Where's the Bayern Munich left back? There's just nobody back. Absolutely crap defending by Bayern. And Dembele took it so well. Just brilliant football by PSG. And look at Luis Enrique, he's over the moon. So Bayern Munich effectively 2 goals ahead now. It's going to be I tell you what, it makes it better for us. It makes it better for us because if Bayern are going to come back from this, it's going to be 6-4 on aggregate now in the first 3 minutes. So excited for this goal fest. Going to be a game, says Charles. 5-4 again, I'm calling it right now, says Marge. Amazing atmosphere. This feels like the final. Whoever wins tonight will go on to beat Arsenal, in my opinion, says Patrick. But this is why I don't think they would. I mean, if Bayern got to the final, look at how they are defensively. And if you're Arsenal, you just go defend well and counter, and you'll score goals. Thank you, Patrick, for your super chat. No way it's over. We need these teams to give us another classic like the first leg. Oh, yeah, Jacob. I mean, what PSG are probably going to do is try and pop them off on the break. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. I mean, look, we are talking about the champions of Europe in PSG. They have a good defence. They have a brilliant midfield and they have a superb attack. And I do think that Upamecano, whilst he's good, you wouldn't put him in the top 10 centre-backs in the world. Insight says, how do you watch PSG and say another team will win? Because PSG aren't flawless. Nice ball down the flank to Lema. Look, what I will say about Bayern Munich, and I've said it to you before, The amount of times, or Elise lazy there, but the amount of times Bayern are behind in games, and it can be 2 or 3-0, and they do come back. So there is a lot of time to go here. Both worse defensively than us. PSG better than Bayern, though, says a true gent. Thank you very much, pal. Speaking to an Arsenal fan today, and I said, look, I remember what it's like to be challenging for a Premier League and playing in the Champions League final. Make sure you enjoy it, because it doesn't happen that often. Arsenal fans just need to enjoy the next few weeks, because I'm sure you'll end up with something. You might end up with both. But definitely enjoy it. It's, well, Arsenal fans know it themselves. It's only their second Champions League final. Do you reckon Arsenal can beat either of these teams, says Andre? Yes. I don't think they'll be favourites, but I think they can beat them. Zeno says, pizza, beer, shampoo, and just uploaded my first video ever. What a night. Thanks for always being an inspiration. This space will grow. Cheers. Thank you, mate, and good luck with what you're doing. This semi-final is just so, can't find the words for it, says Patrick. Well, an early goal for PSG makes it better for us, the consumer, the viewer, because Bayern have to attack. I mean, if you're PSG, you're probably going to try and slow the game down a little bit. You know, the quicker it's over, the better. But if they get another, it's probably over, says AFC Iron. And they're capable of doing that. That's the thing. This is what PSG did last week. Bayern will probably have most possession, but PSG can counter so well. I think Kane needs to have a big game as well. I don't think Kane was at his best last week. Bayern can definitely come back. I agree, Inson. But they haven't started off very well here. And Elise goes down under a tackle from Mendes. And now him on a yellow card. I'd never thought about this. Nuno Mendes on a yellow card up against Elise in the first 8 minutes. That is a bit... Oh, no, he catches him twice, to be fair. I didn't think he caught him with the first one. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I mean, in fact, he kicks him twice. It's definitely a yellow card. Now, that's interesting. Because Elise is going to be running at you for 80 minutes. And if you get sent off, we saw what happened to Barcelona. That can change the game. Mozza says the hunger of PSG is insanity this and last season. Probably a little bit too hungry there, to be honest with you. We've nearly got 20,000 people watching already. Make sure you share the video. We could break records this season tonight. That's a crap cross. It's going to be a goal kick. Football Heritage. Look at the atmosphere. Look at the chat. Look at everyone getting involved. This was the goal. Look at the numbers, though. Bayern just don't have the numbers. They've committed too many people back. I mean, nobody's even looking at Dembele there. No one's even marking Dembele there. There's the ultras. It is a nice kit. Dembele scored the goal, newbie. Seven goals in his last 12 matches, Dembele. I'm sure you all saw it. Arsenal have conceded 6 goals in the entire of this Champions League. I don't understand how people are saying they're going to get battered. Yeah, I don't see Arsenal. Arsenal's defence is the best in the world. There's no doubt about that, Misfits. Kane, great week to week. Average on the big night, says True Gent. Yeah, well, bias. I don't want that to be the case because I want him to do well for England. People forget about it as well. Bayern or PSG will go through to the final, and then they don't really play for 3 weeks. They've got a couple of games, but Bayern have already won their league, and I think PSG have already won theirs. Whereas Arsenal are going to be playing big games each week. I think that's quite a good thing for them. Actually, I don't know whether PSG have won it yet. 34 games, 3 to go. They're 6 points. I mean, they will win it. They will win it, but they've not won it yet. Rajaf says, I loved the origin pass from Ruiz. So beautiful. I love the word origin pass as well. What's scary is to think how far United is off this, as Recon Guy. Yeah, but it takes time to build this. You know, United are far off it at the moment. In 2 seasons, they could be close to it if they bought well and coached well. Elise thought about going for the shot. Here's Kane. Oh, good block that. He was going bottom corner there. But PSG looking to break again. Ruiz, lovely play. Very, very good player, Ruiz. Keep an eye on Elise against Mendes, though. Mendes on a yellow card now. If I'm Bayern, I'm saying get the ball to Elise and let him run at him. Bayern need 3 goals to win. Yeah, but remember, we can have extra time. This Bayern kit is 100 times better, says Vass. I mean, Bayern Munich do tend to have nice kits. I wasn't a big fan of the one for this season. Obviously, they've changed it now, but... 20,000 watching, says Tracy. And I'm proud of that. I said I was proud of it last week, and I'm even prouder than it this week because there's not a Premier League team in sight, and that's football is predominantly built on Premier League watch-alongs and Champions League Premier League team watch-alongs. But this is just pure football. And here's Elise down that right-hand side. Oh, lovely play. Wins the corner. Or does he? He's given a goal kick. It probably did bounce back off him, to be fair. Put the cross in, hit Mendes, came back. I think it did. I think it did go off Elise, to be fair. Will Kvaratskhelia win the Ballon d'Or this year, says Marge? I mean, it's hard because he may well be a very, very good shout, but I do think when it's a World Cup year, we all know that that does make a difference. Lovely feet by Musiala. Now he goes to Elise. He's going to keep running at Mendes, isn't he? They need a goal. They need 2 goals, but there's plenty of time. I'd say even if this was, 1-0 at half-time, there's still plenty of time for Bayern. But I'll be very surprised if it's 1-0 at half-time because we've still got half an hour to go. Dizu says, is it Cal the Dragon in net? I haven't heard from Cal in a while, but I don't think he's playing in goal for PSG. Oh, that was a bit silly defending. That's overhit cross as well. We've seen a couple of overhit crosses by Bayern. Brilliant by, is that Diaz on the far side? Really did well. Into the box. Cutty back! Great tackle! Great block. But they've still got it with Lema. It was brilliant play by Diaz to keep it in. He put the cross in. But now it's going to be PSG on the break again. Kvaratskhelia down the left-hand side. He's done up Meccano once. He's looking to do it again. He has done it again. He's absolutely destroying him. And it goes for a corner. I tell you what, I know what Kvaratskhelia had for tea. Up Meccano on toast. Because he is rinsing him. He is absolutely rinsing him at the moment. He beat him twice on this run. He's destroying him. He's bullying him, basically. Absolutely destroying him. Corner. And Musiala's injured here. This would be a blow for Bayern. But I'd like to see the replay. PSG on the right-hand side, it might have been Zaire-Emery, tried to let the ball go out. Diaz robbed him, put the cross in, and I think it came in towards Elise, and it was a brilliant block by Mendes. And then Musiala, I don't know what he did. I think he got one in the hip. Yeah, I think he seemed to get it in the hip. Or the chest, by the looks of it. Farah is the X Factor. What a baller. Best signing for anyone in the last 5 years, is harsh. Look, fair play to PSG, because I think he looked a very good player at Napoli. And PSG took the punt. Mark, PSG back-to-back would take the piss out of Man City's so-called best team ever in the same era that Liverpool won and went to 3 Champions League finals, says Trucker's ear. Imagine Shaw and Delo fighting this in 4 months, says Hitton. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't want to think about that. Does United really need the type of number 9 Kane is? Says that. Well, we're not going to get Kane anyway. Either or, Rafinha or Elise, says CF26. I'll do that for you now. But they're in down the left-hand side again, PSG. They move. I mean, both these teams move the ball really well. But PSG move it so effortlessly. They almost skate across the grass, don't they? Callie says, can we please not forget Arsenal's road to the final? And it's crazy how Kvaratskhelia was only £70 million, says Carlo. Thank you very much for your super chats. We'll read those out as they come in. PSG definitely on top at the moment. Defending well. Attacking well. Poor ball by Kane there. I think Bayern just look a little bit nervous. Oh dear, and there's a slip as well. You don't want to be doing stuff. That's what I mean. A good tackle by Lema. That's what I mean about Bayern. There's a little bit of tentativeness, a little bit of nervousness in their game so far. Does Kvaratskhelia remind you of Arjen Robben? No. Arjen Robben was ridiculously left-footed and had a very distinctive run. Bomb says this 15 minutes is better than the whole game last night. Yeah, but I have said this about Arsenal. I do think that the Arsenal game, if that had been Barcelona, it would have been a completely different game. I think whoever you are, when you play Atletico Madrid, you are, you know, I think Simeone's a good coach, but I've got no idea how he's the best paid manager in the world. You know, he doesn't win La Liga, and they don't win the Champions League. Bit of frustration popping into the Bayern team at the moment. Elise just pulling Mendes to the ground. Glizzy says, is Kim Min-jae that bad that Upamecano is better? I mean, Upamecano can be brilliant, but he can also be terrible. And I think that's the problem, isn't it? An inconsistent centre-back can be problematic. Nearly 22,000 watching. Please do share the video. Thanks for tuning in. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We will be live tomorrow night for Villa against Forest as well. Bayern continuing to get frustrated here. Where's Hakimi tonight, says Even. Yeah, we were talking about that when the team news came out. Injured last week with a muscle strain. So severe that they think he might not even be back for the final. There's doubts about him being in the World Cup. PSG are just a better team at the moment. You know, respect where it's due. Which 3 players from this game would you pick for the England national team, says Iman. Well, I can only pick Harry Kane because he's the only English team, but if we're talking hypothetically, I can make them English. I wouldn't mind Kvaratskhelia on the left and Elise on the right. And I think England's midfield's okay. So I'd probably have to take a defender. And I mean, Mendes at left back's probably better than Hall and O'Reilly. And Hakimi, I know he's not on the pitch, so I probably can't say him. Diaz here on the left-hand side. Needs a bit of support, gets it. Edge of the box, cross comes in, lots of space. Lema into Elise. Lays it off to Kimmich, little dink. They're never going to work, and PSG bring it away. Yeah, I think if England had Elise, I mean, I think all the wingers on this pitch are bloody better than anything England's got. I mean, I do like Saka, but Diaz with the shot. I get why you do Bundesliga. Look at the atmosphere, says PS4. And yeah, and to be fair, the atmosphere is sometimes better than this, really. Mark says, where do you put your eggs? I don't know what that means. Thoughts on Liverpool selling Diaz and how he's performing, and do you think they should have? I don't think they had a point. Juv, I don't think Liverpool had anything to do with Diaz leaving. I don't think Liverpool had much of a choice. I think he wanted to go. And, you know, I know you can force people to stay, but I think he wanted to go. I don't think Liverpool went, get out. I think he wanted to go, and Liverpool took a decision on that. Top 6 Old Trafford winners at 8 p.m. at the Emirates, says Heaven 11. If you know, you know. UA says, I love your content, but have you sold your Twitter account too? Your recent tweets don't sound like... I've heard people say this. UA9925. Like, my Twitter account is my Twitter account. My YouTube account is my YouTube account. My Instagram is my account. They're not part of any... partnership. So I don't know. I think people are reading things they want to read. Arsenal are a good example of what happens when give a manager patience and backing. This is the model teams should be following, and United, says Uncle Wavy. Thank you very much for that. Liverpool only paid Diaz 55k a week. That's why he left, says Darlin. At the moment, PSG are dictating this game. They're defending well, they're dangerous on the counter, and Bayern aren't creating anything. And they look a bit lackluster, Bayern. And the game's going to pass by very, very quickly if they're not careful. You've got to say, Enrique is doing a job on company here so far. 1-0 up as well. They took a 1-goal lead from Paris, and they're 1-0 up here. 2 goals ahead. 6-4 on aggregate. What do you think of England 66 World Cup being rigged, says Sinrim. I think you're talking out your arse. A bit random, but what was Robban like at Chelsea, says Gallo? He was good. He was good. I think he was there at the start with... Mourinho, wasn't he? Damien Duff era. David says, I think the Premier League should bring back flares. Mate, I was saying this earlier, you know, like, I can't believe, like, when I grew up, adverts on the telly, you'd get Tango, Mars Bar, Walker's Crisps, Chewits, Sweets, etc. Yeah, people of my generation, they're not all overweight or dead with no teeth. Like, you eat it in moderation. I find it incredible that advertising, you don't see advertising for crisps or fizzy drinks or, you know, chocolate anymore. It's ridiculous. And what's that got to do with flares in the ground? Well, it's the same old shit, isn't it? It's like nanny state. Why can't we have, you know, why can't we have flares in the ground? Why can't, you know, seems like society moves backwards sometimes. Who was better for Chelsea, Hazard or Robben, says Mason Fraser? Definitely Hazard. Yeah, short period of time there, but he was definitely better. Do you think Man United should sell Onana to Soccer Edits? I think if they could, they would. Bayern just can't get going here. Upamecano's just gone right through somebody there. I didn't see the follow through. He definitely got the ball, but there was some follow through there. Mark, do you have a player that you wished had reached their potential? Sorry, do you have a player that you wished they'd reached their potential or heights but haven't? Says Charles. I mean, I think from a United point of view, there's been quite a few, haven't there? So it's Mendes, Upamecano. Nah, there's nothing in that. There's nothing sinister in it anyway. He actually just... Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that at all. So 26 minutes gone. 1-0 to PSG on the night. 6-4 up on aggregates. There is Robben. There is Schweinsteiger. Big Man United fan, Schweinsteiger. I know he played for us, but he often tweets when we're playing. Elise versus Rafinha, 83%. Not to Rafinha, to Elise. And here he is on the ball. Up against yellow-carded Mendes. Into the box. Goes for the shot. Ooh, just over the bar. It had the dip, it had the curl. But it didn't dip enough. And that's the danger. The quick ball into Elise. And Mendes can't commit to a tackle. Especially not in the box. Here in Sweden, it's mandatory by law to have IKEA ads every 5 minutes and Volvo ads every 10 minutes. I hope you're joking, Marge. Liverpool 19-20 versus current PSG combined 11, says Henry. I think the current PSG team is one of the best teams of the last decade. So I'd go PSG. Imagine Man United with Enrique. Wish we'd got a good manager, says Uncle Wavy. Yeah, but you can understand why he doesn't want to come to Man United, though, can't you? As much as I want Enrique, you can definitely understand why he doesn't want to come to Man United when you look at what he's got at PSG. Yeah. Ineos just give Enrique 40 million a year. Mark, do you... Sorry. Mark, do you have a player that you wished have reached their potential? I've done that one, haven't I? As Bayern fans are absolutely running round the referee here and saying go to the screen. Lehmer's not very happy as well. Company's not very happy either. I think they want a card on Mendes, but you can't review a VAR second yellow. And they want a handball. That's harsh. I think that is harsh. Be very harsh second yellow, that. I'm not having that. What do you think, chat? I don't think that's a second yellow. I think that would be very, very harsh. I mean, look. And I understand why Bayern are shouting for it. I'd shout for it if I was a Bayern Munich fan. But we're in a Champions League semi-final here. You can't be sending a player off for that. And it would have been a sending off for a second yellow. Too harsh. But that is an area that Bayern are going to keep looking at. Do you think Chelsea will be good next season, says Soccer Edits? I don't actually think Chelsea are that far off if they do the things we've all been talking about on this channel for the last 2 years. They go and get 3 experienced players, especially in goal and up front, and an experienced coach. I think they do okay. Oh, keeper there. What are you doing? Gets rid of it anyway. And now they want another handball. They're screaming. They're screaming for this, Bayern. They're absolutely screaming for this. Well, look, this is going to happen a lot. This is a PSG player booting the ball at his own player. João Neves looks a little bit guilty, but to be honest, the ball is blasted so hard, I'd be stunned if this is a penalty. Oh, bloody hell. I mean, is that a penalty? Vitinha's blasting it away. And he sort of moves his hand. VAR says no. Should that have been a penalty? We're running a poll here. Yes or no? I mean, how is it not a penalty, people are saying? Not give it. I mean, look, I understand there's a harsh element to it. I think the only thing I would say is Vitinha's clearing the ball and his own player handles it. But I don't remember that being written in the rules. Last week, it was a penalty, wasn't it? On Mendes. Turning into basketball here, says Charles. Would you take Palmer now where he's been playing, says Mason Fraser. I mean, I do like Cole Palmer, but for the price Chelsea would want, they won't sell him anyway. Mark, which of the top Champions League teams are the worst at the Emirates this season, says Jacob? Do you think Angelo Stiller be good midfielder for the summer, says Jack? I do. Yeah, I do. Stanisic has now been booked. Things are going against Bayern Munich at the moment. Shaheen says, games are better when Clive Tilsley's the commentator. He's a world treasure, so nostalgic. Does he still do it? 72% say it should have been a red card, handball. I mean, I think, if as I say, if I was a Bayern Munich fan, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, ref? What are you talking about? I don't get the justification as to why they haven't got him to look at that on VAR. And PSG nearly score a goal as well. Corner. And it would have been... Imagine that. João Neves nearly scored. Imagine if he'd scored. I think the referee might have had to run for cover. Great save by Neuer, that is, as well. Brilliant save. 74% saying it's a penalty. People are throwing stuff from the ground. Neuer's saying stop it. So, controversy here as well. I do feel like Bayern have been robbed slightly in a game where they're 2 goals down now. That penalty would have come in definite handy, literally. I'm sort of surprised as well. I'm sort of surprised in Europe as well that they haven't given that. I think that was more of a Premier League not given penalty, if I'm being honest. But I don't know what Elise. Elise's having a shit game at the moment. Hopefully he'll play like this in the World Cup. I thought Europe was consistent with handball. It's a PSG versus Arsenal final, says Renault. Clive Tilsley and Martin Tyler are the Ronaldo and Messi of commentating, says Mike Hill. Ref is either on the payroll or the wacky backy. Hope he's not going to the World Cup, says Goldio. It's a shame because he started off quite well. He started letting the game flow, but I wouldn't be able to move past that if that was United. I'd be like, the ball is... He's put his hand out in the penalty box and stopped the ball with his hand. I mean, what's your justification? Bayern down the right-hand side. Cross is good. Kane needs to lay that off to somebody. Cannot be a penalty if it's played by a teammate. Yeah, that's complete and utter bollocks. How's it not the penalty? It hits him on the hand, says Gallia. I think some people actually do think that's the rule. If your own player kicks it onto your hand, it's not a penalty. That's not a rule. Bayern keep probing. We're only 9 minutes away from half time. Ref, is it? Thank you, Goldio. Abraham's little ponytail says definitely handball. Joel's docking the gardener. They're on the break again here. They've got a 4v3 PSG. And Kvaratskhelia got it on the far side. And I think that's a corner. It is. Does not matter if it's a harsh. That was a second yellow and that's a penalty, says Stig. You cannot have your hands out like that. Like Drogba said, it's a disgrace. And Robbo96 says, Bayern can't be looking for favours here. I don't think they're going to get them. Thank you very much for your super chats. They called it against Ben White as well, says Cian. Yeah, they did. R Squared Comedy says, what are your top 6 favourite meals you've had at the Emirates this season? Yeah, some people don't know what's going on here. It's all to do with a comment we had last night that sort of took us all a few minutes to understand. Mason says his mum's Kylie Minogue. Do you fancy a go? And ref clearly didn't consider it deliberate since it would make no sense to stop a ball clearing from a teammate, says Marge. Yeah, but there is no deliberate in handball either. The handball rules are very confusing, which is why we end up with these controversies, because deliberate's not actually part of it. I think the only one that I understand from the handball rule is the hand was in a natural position, which it clearly wasn't. He's too close of a distance from his own teammates, as you know. I don't think he is too close. I think the ball gets blasted, so there's not a lot he can do, but I don't think he's too close. Mendes was closer last week, wasn't it? And that came up with his body. Pavlovic there could have been booked. A bit late on João Neves. Referee lets it go. Top 6 teammate ball to hands at the Emirates, says True Gent. And Oliver says, I hope Bayern win. I want Kane to win an actual cup and not a dinner plate. We've got over 25,000 people watching. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please click and subscribe. Bottom right corner. Get involved with the channel. Intriguing game. Not as many goals as last week, but still the same intensity and speed. I think PSG are defending very well so far. Another goal kick. A lot of things are going PSG's way, to be fair. That's the second time that's happened where a tackle's gone in and gone off the striker for a corner. Obviously, we've had the handballs. So there's a lot going PSG's way at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if that continues. Hi, Mark. Big fan from New Zealand. Keep it up. Just realised Vincent Kompany's wearing a very similar outfit to what I wore first week of the Baller League. Baggy black trousers, black leather jacket and white trainers. He must be a Baller League and Goldbridge fan. Stylistically as well, probably. Elise needs to switch on, says Corrupt Universe. Match sold, says Martin. Skull, big shout out from New Zealand. Thank you, everybody. 5 minutes to go to half time. Bayern would love a goal, but you can never rule out a PSG goal. That's the beauty of this game. Good switch of the play to Diaz. Up against Emery, who, of course, is not a right-back and is not Hakimi. And he's overrun that as well. It's just not going right for them. It's not going right for them at the moment. Neuer deep. Sorry, not Neuer deep. Neuer out of his goal. There can't be this many variations of one rule. This is why no one understands it anymore, says Lachlan. Look, some might disagree with me. I've said it for a few years now. I'd be more comfortable with if it hits your hand, it's a penalty. You'd get a few injustices, but you'd get more consistency. I think they're chasing something they'll never find. They're trying to be fair and consistent, and you're never going to get that. I think with a handball, if it hits your hand, it's a penalty. Unless it hits your hand within a metre. But even then you start to get variance. Well, you know, you can put your hand in the air. Good play by Musiala, keeper gets it and they clear it. How long do you think United will take to get to the Champions League semi-final, says Dylan? Look, if you get a run like Arsenal, and I'm not taking the piss out of Arsenal, but what was it? Sporting quarter-final. Who did they have in the last 16? So if you do well in the league stage, you can get a good run to the semi-final. Kane's done really well there. That's proper hold-up play. We've got an overlap here with Lema. Play him in. Lema. Oh, he's took him late there. No, there's no appeal. I'll tell you what, Mendes. For somebody on a yellow card, Mendes was proper late on Lema there. Lema didn't make anything of it. The referee expert on Swiss TV described it as a clearance attempt with the ball moving out of the box and the contact coming from very short distance in a reflex reaction, says Stego. Well, there you go. From Stego. Tino, when Newcastle qualified in the Champions League a few seasons back, got a handball and it shouldn't have been. But when PSG gets handball, it's nothing. The officials are ridiculous in Europe, says Sean. Elise, it's just not running for him at the moment. $100 gorillas versus one man at the Emirates. Who wins, says Jake. Will Arsenal play part of the bus for penalties if they get PSG in the final? If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd want Bayern. Because I think we've seen Bayern. Musiala, good save. Very good save. That was their best chance of the game. It broke for him in the middle. He went for the bottom corner and it was a big save by the keeper. Yeah, if I was an Arsenal fan, I think I'd want Bayern at the moment because you can see that Bayern have vulnerabilities defensively, whereas PSG have looked very good over. Oh! I thought he'd scored then as well, Musiala. Keeper was like, what? Bit of curl, but it was wide. I'd like to see this from here. Wasn't far away. No, it was. Would you take Company at United, says Wacker? I think Vincent Kompany is probably one of the best managers in Europe at the moment, yes. It was easier back in the day when it was ball to hand or hand to ball, says Calbad. Do you consider Luis Diaz as world-class? Last world-class player my country had was Falcao. James doesn't count. He only shows up for international football, says Delster. Does he play international football still, James Rodriguez? I don't know. I think it's a good question. Is Luis Diaz world class? I mean, I mean, it depends what your definition of world class is. Musiala's been a bit greedy here now. He's had 3 shots in the space of a couple of minutes. And whilst Vincent Kompany is applauding him, there is an element of desperation to some of these shots that you don't actually want to see at this stage of the game. Only 2 minutes being added on here. It's going to take a hell of a comeback here from Bayern. if they've got it all to do in the second half. So far, so good for PSG. Early goal on the break. Defended well. But this is not the Bayern Munich. Oh, I mean, again, they're a really bad pass. There's been too many bad passes. There's been too many mistakes on the ball. It's not been a very clean performance. And I think with PSG, that's the difference. When they get the ball, they're looking after it a lot better. Elise, see again, it's not clean. It's not clean again. The ball gets stuck under his feet. The pass is misplaced. And he's tackled again there. They do look nervous, I agree. And it looks like they're going to go down, going at half-time, 1-0 down and 6-4 down. And again, another bad pass. I feel if PSG get another one, it will be over. You could argue it's over already, but they're not going to have a lot of time to attack here. Kimmich gets caught. From IFAB, a handball offence is not committed when a player is hit on the hand arm by the ball which has been played by a teammate. End of. Yeah, I don't think that's the rule, Spice Coyote. Marge says, I looked it up. Accidental hand-arm contact from a teammate's kick pass isn't handball unless you score directly or immediately afterwards. Maybe there's something in that. I don't know. Shout out to all the drivers delivering hot food and desserts to the Champions League households. It's been very good business tonight. Stay safe, says Riley. There we go. There we go. We don't normally get shout outs for them. I think this is going to be the last action of the half. In the cross comes. And it was headed just wide, but I think there might have been an offside. Jonathan Tarr should have done better there. It's a free header. If he's onside, I don't know whether he is. I think the keeper had it covered anyway. And that is half-time, everybody. So give me your thoughts. Harry Kane is still talking to the referee. Look, unless somebody can produce a rule that says you can kick the ball at your own teammate and he can stick his arm out in the penalty box and it's not a penalty, I have to agree with the 75% of you that have voted and the 12,000 of you that voted. 75% said it should be a penalty. 25% said it shouldn't have been a penalty. I think it's a big, big decision. I don't think it was a second yellow card for Mendes. I know he handles the ball, but I don't think that's a second yellow card for me. But I think it is a penalty. And I think, you know, in a game of this magnitude, you would be fuming if that happened to you, whoever you support. Of course, I do take into account that, you know, it's very rare that you see a ball get cleared and then hit somebody on the arm. But actually, what difference does that make? It's handled in the penalty box, isn't it? I think if that had happened on the halfway line, it would be given as a free kick. So, and I think that's the way I always look at it as well. If Vitinha had done that to try and play Dembele through one-on-one, and Neves had stopped it with his hand, would he have gone back and given a handball, or would he have said played on? He'd have given a handball. So, you know, you've got to look at it and go, logically, it feels a bit weird because it was a clearance that hit his hand, but it's still a handball, isn't it? So I think it's a strange decision, and it's very strange that VAR didn't even send him to have a look at it. So yeah, I'm quite shocked about that one, to be fair. But what can you do? Bayern Munich have got to get on with it. They're going to have to produce a very big result, and it's always a shame as well because I think the first leg was so good because of the football, and I think the second leg's been intriguing. But we are talking about a referee decision again, aren't we? Yeah. The rules say it can't be a penalty. Now, look, maybe there is something in that. I've not seen anything official coming out about that. Maybe there is something in that. Apparently, Liverpool are set to off. Oh, no, it's fake. I nearly read it out. Always check, always check. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Bayern needs an epic Mighty Ducks style team talk to get back into this. Look, what I would say about Bayern Munich is that they have been behind a lot this season against a lot of Bundesliga teams, and they've come back in the second half. But this will take something, because the biggest problem about Bayern Munich is whether it was a penalty or not, they have been quite poor in this half. So they've got to really up it. They've looked nervous, misplaced passes, poor dribbles, etc. So they've got to do a lot better. Please click and subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. We are so close to 472,000. We're about 10 away, so please click and subscribe, get involved. Maho says it's actually a rule. I don't know. I don't know about that rule. I don't know. Bayern are being robbed, says 7. Is there a Dubois versus Wardley watch-along on Saturday? No, Mark. Bayern, the same thing happened with Pogba in 2020 and it was given as a penalty, so it's just inconsistency, says Donald Triumph. How many times in the Champions League have they given those? Maybe not in the Prem, but Europe, says Hannah. Bayern centre-backs very clunky and unable to pass very well, says Hugh. Dembele Ballon d'Or, if he wins this in the World Cup, I would say so, STZ, yes. Reports that Tchouameni had a fight today, Mark, says James. Thank you very much for that. This referee needs to have his accounts checked. He has that hero mentality, thinks 500 million are watching him and not everybody else. Cian says, in my opinion, he made himself bigger. I just don't think that when you watch it back, and I'm sure we'll get to see it in a minute as well, I think João Neves' reaction is a little bit strange as well. There's a big distance between him and Vitinha, and the ball's not going to hit him. I think he reacts like it's going to hit him in the face. But it's not. He sort of throws his arms away from his body. Like, if he'd just gone like that, it would have gone right past him. But he sort of goes like that. He makes a weird movement as well. I mean, I have to see it again, but I think he makes an unnatural, weird movement. But look, maybe there is something in the rules. I don't know. I don't know. Much love, says Lucas. Thank you very much. You can't spell the referee's name without corruption. How was it not even checked, says She Loves Cowgirls. And thank you very much to Cian. The ball was going out of the box. I don't think that's anything to do with it. And Nick says, I also think the Nuno Mendes handball is just as bad as the Neves handball. That's 2 terrible decisions. Remember, Mendes doesn't handle it in the box. Mendes handles it away from the box. And it would have been a second yellow card. Both teams look nervous to play Arsenal in the final, says Mr. Dick. Okay. And Arsenal fans going to call for Saka to win the Ballon d'Or if Arsenal win the Champions League and the Premier League. I saw an Arsenal fan today saying that Declan Rice should win the Ballon d'Or. And I was like, he's not even going to win the Player of the Year, in my opinion. Noom says, in Germany, they're okay with the penalty, but with the second yellow for Mendes and the offside, they are fuming. I don't know about the offside, Noon. I don't know about that. Okay, they're going to show us something here. I don't know what the offside's about. I mean, this is brilliant by Kvaratskhelia. And as Rajaf says, the origin pass by Ruiz is brilliant. And then they're in there, aren't they? I think we'll get an incredible second half, one way or another. Yeah, look, Tar loses Dembele. Yeah, I think Bayern are almost trying to go man for man, aren't they? And it just leaves so much space. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's the mentality of a coach. You know, Bayern have obviously started this game going, we've got the crowd, we're going to start on the front foot. And there is a food of thought that you could go, first 5 minutes, let's not do anything stupid. Right, here's the Nuno Mendes handball. Maybe Lema handles it, actually. I think Lema might handle the ball first. Yeah, or is it his knee? No, he doesn't handle it. Lema doesn't handle it. You know what? The more I see the Mendes one, or maybe Lema does handle it as well. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. It is hard to tell. No second Liello because Lema handled it first, says Shin. Yeah, I don't think the referee knew that, mate. I think I'd call bullshit there. I don't know why João Neves sticks his hand out. Well, looking at the João Neves one, I don't know why he sticks his hand out. And on the Mendes one, you know what? I've got to apologise to you all. On the Mendes one, the Lema thing's got nothing to do with it. The Lema thing's got nothing to do with it. We're going, they didn't give him the second yellow because Lema handled it. But VAR doesn't get involved in that. That's the referee. The referee won't have seen the Lema handball anyway. He will have seen the Mendes handball. So don't cover the referee off by saying he didn't give the Mendes handball as a second yellow because he thought Lema did it. He didn't see that. My thoughts. Enrique has made Elise and Diaz non-existent. World-class management. Lema had the best first half for Bayern. You'll remember the first leg for the football, but the second leg, at least until now, for the refereeing, says Ashish. Thank you very much. Lots of good comments coming in. Just trying to catch up here. I'm going to close the poll on the penalty because obviously second half is going to be coming back very, very quickly and we need to move on. Which way do you think it goes now? Well, which way do you think it goes? I can still see extra time. I think Bayern are going to have to push hard to do that. I think Bayern's best chance is extra time. I think that's going to be very difficult because you've got to beat PSG by 2 clear goals. I wouldn't be surprised if on the break PSG got a goal. And I think that's what Enrique is going to be looking for. Get the next goal, kill the game. But the question is, can Bayern score 2 goals to take it to extra time? It will be difficult to do that. Very, very difficult to do that. Especially on that first half form. But as I've said to you before, Bayern Munich are very much a second half team. They've been very good in the second half this season. We've got nearly 25,000 people watching Football Heritage on That's Football. I'm so proud of the 2 streams we've done over the last week for teams that aren't in the Premier League. You know, we're predominantly a Premier League watch-along and Premier League teams in the Champions League watch-along. So to have our 2 biggest streams of the season so far for Bayern against PSG just shows the hunger and desire the modern football fan has for good football. And well done to you. Just came in. Your opinion on those calls, Mark, says Yuriki. I think there might be a rule around the Neves one that I'm not aware of because a lot of people aren't making a big deal of it. I mean, I think he handles it and I think it should be a penalty, but apparently there could be a rule as to why it wasn't given. But it's like Aaron says, no second yellow, but it was a penalty in my opinion. I think you've got to give one. You can't not give either, is my feeling. Now, you tell me the technicalities, but you've got to give one. I'm okay with both not being given. Sorry, I'm okay with not getting both, but you got to give one. That's my stance. To give neither is very harsh on Bayern Munich, but one of them has to be given. You've got to give the penalty or give the yellow card. And I know that sounds strange because you can't say give one or the other, but that's consistency, isn't it? You'd expect a good official to give one of those decisions, and to give neither just edges a little bit towards incompetence to me, because he'll have seen Mendes handle it and he'll have seen Neves handle it, and he's sided with PSG on both of those. And I think that's wrong. And someone says, what do you mean they are mutually exclusive? What I mean is, you would expect the referee to give one of those. The Mendes thing will be fresh in his head. And in his head, if you've ever been officials or you've ever played football, those decisions stay with you. They stay with you for a bit. So that referee will know that he could have given a second yellow card to Mendes. And then a few minutes later, he'll see Neves handling the ball in the box. And what his brain should do is go, I can't be making another controversial call here. But he hasn't. He's gone, neither. I'm not giving either. And maybe he doesn't know that handball's a rule. Has anyone thought about that? Maybe he thinks you can handle the ball in football. I mean, let's defend the referee here. Maybe he's not aware of handball. If Bayern don't stop PSG, they will win the Champions League again, says one and only. Corner, offside, Mendes handball, penalty, says Shay. I'm not aware of the offside or the corner. Remember, Lema handles the ball right before it, says Eureka. It's irrelevant, mate. It's irrelevant because the referee doesn't see the Lema handball and it's not a VAR decision. So you can't VAR review a second yellow. So the referee won't have seen the Lema handball. He'll have seen the Mendes handball and he still didn't give a yellow. So ref is Portuguese, Mark. It's not a coincidence to me, says Matthew. Are you ticklish, says Zuta. I don't think so. Thank you very much, Eureka. Mendes should be awarded yellow penalty or not, says Wen. And I don't think Bayern can come back, says Dung. PSG will be in the final and they'll win it. Prediction from a Man United fan. There we go, Dung. Thank you very much. The ref knew he gave a foul in favour of PSG, says Shin. And thoughts on advanced Arteta new contract, says Goldio. I think that Arteta, the interesting thing about that Arteta news is, if you've not heard it, Arsenal are going to give Arteta a new contract. But apparently this has been worked on for a while and they would have given it even if he'd won nothing. I think giving Arteta the contract when he wins the Premier League and the Champions League, or either or, will be well deserved. What would have been interesting is handing him that contract if they'd win nothing, because I know a few Arsenal fans who would have wanted him sacked if they won nothing. So the interesting thing for me is that they were going to give him a contract anyway. But he deserves it if and when they win one of these trophies, 100%. Players are coming out for the second half. Shay says 2 Portugal players and a Portuguese ref. Maybe. Thank you everybody who subscribed, by the way. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner and subscribing to That's Football. Everybody is welcome here. Daily content. Tomorrow night we're live for Villa against Forest. And we've got loads of planned for you over the summer. Obviously the Champions League final, the final few weeks of the Premier League, the FA Cup final. And we've got live Bundesliga action on Friday night. It's Frankfurt against Dortmund in Dortmund. So that'll be a great atmosphere if you've enjoyed it here tonight. We have live Bundesliga football on a Friday night. Also, World Cup. Loads of watch-alongs coming up. If you fancy late nights and early mornings, we've got some brilliant 2 a.m.s, 11 p.m.s, everything covered for you on the channel. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Thanks for being part of That's Football. Everybody's welcome, no matter who you support. Even if you support Man City, you're welcome. Okay, here they come down the steps in the Allianz. The Bayern Munich players are going to have to produce performance of the season here. They've had a very good season, Bayern, and they are a very good team. And I think they're a worthy winner of the Champions League if they win it. But they're also up against the fantastic side in PSG. Some people say this is the final, the 2 best teams in the world. Arsenal will have something to say about that at the end of the month in Budapest. But here we go. We're about to start the second half. And Bayern have to try and turn this around in their own ground. Just waiting for the clock. PSG have been very measured and very controlled. They've countered well. They've defended well. They've kept the possession well. Much more, I would call, assured and composed than Bayern, who have looked panicked. I think that early goal rocked them. And they just haven't got back. There we go. Second half kicks off. Get Kim in for Tar. Tar is bad and Kim is elite, says Zuta. Pinheiro is the worst referee in Portugal. Coming from a Sporting fan, I watch him every week. It's a mistake after mistake, week after week, says Bernardo. It is a shame in the Champions League, isn't it, when you get a poor referee. It'll be the same in the World Cup. There'll be loads of games in the World Cup where we go, did you see that shit decision? And you just get referees from some countries who are crap. There'll be plenty of talking about anything but the game during the World Cup. Watch along, says Kenneth. Thank you very much. Right, here's Diaz on the attack. Bayern can't let time fly by in this half. They've got to start creating goal-scoring chances. And again, I mean, this is wild. This is the second time this has happened in the last couple of minutes. A simple pass played out of play by Bayern Munich. I'd be fuming if I was company. These are professional footballers in a Champions League final, and they can't make 10-yard passes. That's just like, that's substitution time for me. PSG player goes down. Head injury, you've got to stop the play. Nedwill, thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. I don't even know what happened because I don't think he caught Harry Kane's foot. Oh, no, he did. He did. He did. He definitely did. Nothing deliberate about it, though. This just slows the momentum down. PSG will probably do this quite a lot. Not a bad thing. He might have just caught his head. Well, he's definitely caught his head because he's got some sort of spray on it now. My question, what happened to that Bournemouth centre-back, Zabiani, who moved to Paris? Anyone want to... No, it's a great question. I want to know the answer. That's from HRG. Anyone else think that something bad will happen at the World Cup, especially being in America? I'm not looking forward to it personally, says Wesley. Wait to bring the mood down, Wesley. Thanks for that. I mean, I'd like to think nothing. Could have been worse, Mark. We could have got Michael Oliver as the ref for this game, says Jamie. I actually think Michael Oliver's a better ref. I never thought I'd say that. He's been benched and he'll get moved on in the summer, says Sent Cheeky. Yeah, he's on the bench. Might be an Arsenal fan here. Port says, what a boring game. I think it's been a good game. It's not been as good as last week, but I do think it's been a good game. I just think it's... Bayern have been really poor. They don't normally play so rattled. But that might be why Saka was talking about Bayern, because PSG don't play rattled football. Do you think we're getting a bit of the dark arts here from PSG? I mean, it's Pacho again. He's gone down twice in the first 5 minutes here, and I mean, I don't feel like there's much in that really. So that's 5 minutes gone from PSG already, and we barely even started, but Bayern need to switch on here. Trying to up the tempo. Harry Kane, he's got too many players on him there, and Musiala wins the free kick. Nice switch of the play, but Mendes will win it. Lema picks it back up again, gets it out to Elise. They've not really exploited the Mendes yellow card so far. Elise thought about shooting. I don't think he fancied it. Diaz, you have to move that wide. Kane, he's got it out on the left-hand side. He goes for the shot. This is something from a coaching perspective where I'd be getting a little bit concerned. The desperation shot. Where are the big chances? Why are we not creating the big chances? Why do we keep taking the, what I call the 30% shot? You know, not even that. There's a low chance of it actually happening. I want you to create the 50-50 chance. I want you to create the big chance, and they're not doing that. This is lovely play by PSG, and unfortunately Dembele didn't make the run. That's lovely play by Marquinhos. Not football heritage today, says Marlow. PSG 72% passing accuracy. That's bottom of the Premier League levels. Shocking. Bayern should be able to capitalise at Marlow. Yeah, I mean, I think in many ways that early goal has forced PSG to be, you know, pragmatic and Bayern Munich to go nervous, which just shows you how good last week was. My question, thank you very much, HRG. Thank you very much. I don't know. I mean, you know, if I was an Arsenal fan watching this, I'd be like, if you catch them on a day like this, I think you could beat either of them. Polar says, glass coffins in the future. Remains to be seen. Ba-dum-dum-tsh. As I said at half-time, Bayern are going to have to really do well to take this to extra time. Remember, they've got to get 2 goals, and PSG's performance so far just doesn't feel like it's going to suddenly implode. That's a terrible shot as well. I mean, the Bayern Munich performance has been very poor. And you do start to get into a mindset of one of those days, and from Bayern, it's looking like one of those days at the moment. Shahin makes a very good observation. He says the fact that Elise has to keep dropping to midfield, he can't be a threat from there. Their midfield seems gone. And T Crow says Enya all day, every day. One positive about Bayern getting knocked out, Harry Kane will be very well rested for the World Cup. They've already won the Bundesliga. Ten minutes gone already. We'll probably get about 5 minutes added on already as well, because there's been quite a lot of stoppages. Oh no, someone in the chat just said, what films have you been watching at the moment? No! That always worries me when we get those sort of questions. We're not giving up yet. We're not doing favourite chocolate bars yet. Dewey! Oh! Straight at the bar. Straight at the keeper. Sorry, I've lost my live chat for a moment. That's the problem as well. PSG may not be having to be that progressive, but they have been creating chances. And here's Kvaratskhelia again. Great save by Neuer. I mean, Neuer has made bigger saves than the PSG keeper. And that's a worrying sign for Bayern because they just can't create big chances, and PSG have. Got to go wide to Elise. Elise's got to get on his skates here. You're up against the guy with a yellow card. You've got to run at him. And that's good defending. Back with the keeper. Why are Arsenal in the Champions League final when they were playing in the Europa League in the group stages, says LFC Chiesa. A True Gent says, are people still confident we can't win? Rub says, stop thinking about Arsenal. If they got what it takes, they would beat any team. Nobody told Chelsea how to win the Champions League against all the odds. Chelsea's Champions League win, I've got to say, I didn't want them to win it, but that was massively impressive. If you can't remember Chelsea's Champions League win in 2012, this was against Bayern Munich in the final, and it happened to be in Munich, and they beat them. Which makes it one of the most impressive Champions League wins ever. And also, it was done with an interim in Di Matteo. But, you know, that's just like look at the draw, isn't it? Like, you know, sometimes the final will be in the Bernabeu. It doesn't mean it's going to be Real Madrid. A lot of people quite rightly in the chat calling out João Neves and his contribution to this performance by PSG so far. Absolutely spot on. There is no space for Bayern to get at that back four. He's patrolled that area so well. And that's why Bayern are struggling to make any headway. It's a good run by Elise. I thought he might have took the shot on. And that's terrible. I don't think I've seen Elise put a performance in like this all season. Really bad. I mean, really bad. Now Diaz got a bit of space down that side. He's up against Emery, who isn't a fullback by trade. And again, they deal with it. Old or current Champions League format, says Marlow. It's a good poll. I'll run that. Either or. Here's Elise. He's got to lay that off. Goes into Musiala. Again, lots of play around the edge of the box, but they can't create the chance. PSG are playing Carrick ball with better quality squad, says Carlo Montana. Apparently Enrique studies Carrick ball. It's his idol. He started doing it when he was at Middlesbrough. Keep comparing these to Arsenal, please. I want as much of a positive mindset as possible for Arsenal to lose in the final of the United stand, says Brad. Thanks for your super chat, Brad. Short-tempered gamer says Bayern should bring on Clive or whatever he's called. Carl. Yeah. Well, I think they might have to. Nick says, I think Bayern have gone off the boil. When did they last win in the league? Could have taken the edge off their game. I do think there might be something in that, you know. Competitive football keeps you, like you say, on the boil. And Bayern rested a lot of players that have been resting players a lot in recent weeks. And you understand why you do it, because you want to avoid injury and fatigue. But the flip side of that is you can lose rhythm and flow. It's a hard balance to strike, because you want to protect your players, but you then lose your momentum, don't you? Half an hour to score 2 goals here, Bayern. That's a nice ball, but he's still, look at the numbers of PSG players back. Lema is going to try and put a cross in, but again, well defended. What the hell is that? I mean, I'm fuming with whoever that is. Was it Stanisic? On the edge of the box, taking a shot. I mean, get him off. I'd be like, who are you? Get him off. Thinks he's Tony Cruz, says Ukar. All right, I'm going to have a quick stretch here. I've just realised I've been sat down for too long. I know, sometimes I do stand up. No. Maybe I should have stood up for this. Guess what player I am? A goal goes in. Yoo-hoo! A goal goes in. Yoo-hoo! There's a goal gone in. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, Luke Shaw, you guessed it. Well done. It's the most adventurous he is in a game. It's the only time he goes past halfway. PSG were nearly in there. Well, the way things are going at the moment, I just don't think PSG look in any trouble at all. 90s Champions League format with second group stage wasn't bad. You'd see so many great games. United, Barca and Bayern were in the same group in 99. I don't think there was a second group stage in 99, Shahin. We were straight away in that group. I do remember there being a season where they did 2 group stages, but it wasn't 99. Do you think we'll get a repeat of last year's final, says Amando? Well, no, because Inter are out. Kane coming very deep here. Why don't you think Bayern will come back? Because they're just not playing very well. They've been really off. I mean, and one of the big problems for Bayern is that they normally don't pass like this. I mean, look at Lema there. It's so nervous. They don't normally give the ball away like this. Lovely feet by Doué. Oh, great save by Neuer. Goes for a corner. I mean, that's Doué running against 4 players. As I said, if I'm Arsenal, I definitely would rather Bayern came back. Because PSG have shown they can defend, they can attack. Alphonso Davies is going to come on. I think Barcola is going to come on. Dembele is going off. He's shouting at his players as he goes off as well. French wine or German beer, says Eamon. I think I'll go with the German beer, actually. If Liverpool had kept Diaz, do you think we would have been any better off this season, says Rue? I think it would have been better. I still think you would have not been where you were last year, but you definitely would have been better. He's a quality player. Nick P says, I love the new Champions League format. It's the Super League done in the right way. Well, it's interesting, actually, and fair play to Marlow, who suggested this as a poll. Either or, old Champions League format or new format, 55% did go with the new format, but only 45%, and 45% went with the old format. So it's closer, which I think is great. I personally like the new format. I didn't think I would, but I like the new format because I think it works better than where the group stage format was at. Remember, the group stage format was third place goes into the Europa League as well, which I think is stupid. So that's another factor. But I like the league stage because I think first season we were a little bit, what's this all about? And people didn't understand the jeopardy. But I think this season, everybody understood that it's important to finish in the top 8. And look at the pace of Mendes. And it was a good recovery by Upamecano, to be fair. I think the knockout stage of the Champions League has been brilliant for years, though, hasn't it? I think when you get to the final 8 in the Champions League, it tends to be very good, and it has been very good. Musiala, good feet, goes to Diaz. You need a bit of magic. PSG just literally everybody behind the ball. I mean, look, you can talk about parking the bus and everything like that. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's worth it. And PSG defensively have worked ridiculously hard. And as many people in the chat will say, if this was Arsenal, they'd be getting a bit of stick for it. But PSG have defended fantastically well. The game is drifting away, the real Bennett. French steak or German schnitzel? It's a Snoopy 10. I don't think I've had many French steaks, to be honest. Double group stage was the Vodafone Bold Beckham. Yes, says Carlo Montana. Oh, Armando says, do you think the final could be a repeat of the scoreline? I don't think Arsenal would ever get destroyed by anybody this season. I think it'll be a close game. Yeah. Thank you everybody who's tuning in, by the way. If you've not subscribed to That's Football, it's free to do it. Click bottom right-hand corner and do that. Thank you for getting involved. We are live tomorrow night for another big game involving 2 English clubs to get into the Europa League final, where there'll be huge favourites to win that. And obviously, silverware on the European stage in the Europa League. It's Villa at Villa Park against Forest. Forest with a 1-0 lead. They'll be looking at this game tonight and going, And they, you know what? They got a very good result with Chelsea on Monday, didn't they? Here's Luis Diaz into the box, but nothing comes of it. The final ball for Bayern as well has been very poor. Very poor. Good play here. Alphonso Davies crosses it in. Didn't hit it first time, but the keeper gets the save anyway. Looks like a PSG versus Arsenal final. I want PSG to beat Arsenal, says Becky. I hope you're well too. You too as well, Becky. Hope you're doing well. Where's your May the 4th tribute, says Stretford Ender? It's the 6th. Imagine as if we get Nagelsmann and top signings, says United. Well, it won't be United though, will it? Got to be one of the worst games compared to the hype, says David. I've enjoyed it. I thought last week was just incredible. And you know what? Last week was absolutely amazing, and I think this has been a good game, but obviously it's not been as good as last week. But how often does that happen? Like PSG, Bayern last week, absolutely electric. This week, not quite living up to it, but I still think it's a good game. Reminds me of when I went to Centre Parks a couple of years ago, just before Christmas. Went with the family, the wider family. Great time, brilliant weekend, festive, cold weather, sports bar, watch some football, swim in, played board games. Absolutely brilliant. We booked it again the following year. It was good. There's no reason why it wasn't good, but it just wasn't as good. And I think that's sometimes a lesson in life, isn't it? You try and repeat something, it doesn't necessarily go the way of the first one. What do you think of PSG's vulnerabilities that you can be exploited, says Tamid? I think PSG's weaknesses are at the start of the season when they're not up to speed. I I think the last 2 seasons, when it's been in April and May, they've been absolutely incredible. And that's the daunting thing for Arsenal, is that we've seen 2 sides of PSG. Last week we saw the incredible attacking football, and tonight we've seen their ability to defend. I mean, many people have spoken about the performance from João Neves and Vitinha and Ruiz. I think they've been brilliant. I think Zaire-Emery at right back has done a very good job as well in the absence of Hakimi. I mean, Hakimi is a big miss for them, and Zaire-Emery at right back's been fantastic. Obviously, the fluidity of their attack. They're a very, very good team, PSG. And they can play lots of different ways, and they've got an incredible coach. I can understand. I presume Saka was talking about wanting... Well, I presume he was talking about Bayern. Arsenal would have a better chance against Bayern, 100%. You know, I was laughing today. I logged on to Twitter this morning, or X, and somebody said, I've just spent 3 hours last night booking loads and loads of hotel rooms in Budapest with a cancellation policy. I thought, what? And then I twigged, it's the final, isn't it? And Arsenal fans are trying to book tickets. I think it was a joke. It would be a horrible thing to do. True Gent says Arsenal have conceded less goals than even the team knocked out earliest, Bayern 19 and PSG 21. Yeah, Arsenal defensively, as we know, best in the world. Robbo says PSG have earned the right to sit back and hit on the break after scoring 6 goals. Arsenal, on the other hand, says Robbo 96. Arsenal be licking their lips. They own this style, says Arca. Yeah, I don't think PSG will play like this against you. I think the vulnerability of Bayern is that they're play the same way. Company's style is very pleasing on the eye and the same way. What we know about Enrique is that he's tactically adaptable. How he played in the first game is completely different to how he's played here. So Arsenal won't necessarily know how PSG are going to approach it. Enrique might look at it and go, I'm not just going to attack and get caught on the counter. He might have a different plan. Whereas Arsenal, if you were playing Bayern, you know you're going to counter them because they're going to play that high line. And PSG have made Bayern look very bad as well. And Bayern are not a bad team. They've been a bit nervous, but they're not a bad team. But they've been made to look poor. And also, the context, what we were saying before the game, the atmosphere, 75,000 fans in the Allianz, ready to go, ready to be the 12th man, which Vincent Kompany asked. And PSG have silenced them. You know, if you didn't know that Michael Olise was one of the best players in the world at the moment, and this is the first time you were watching him, you'd be saying he needs to get subbed off. But I think I'm at that point now where, and I don't know about you, I probably don't want Bayern to come back. I don't think they've earned the right. I mean, look, if they do, they do. But I'm getting to the point with this game now where I'm thinking PSG deserve to be in the final. I mean, they were very good in this first leg and they've been the better team in the second leg. Different styles of football, but yeah. Because it is 2 separate ways of playing in these 2 semi-finals. And if they get a clean sheet here as well, I mean, that should not be misunderstood. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Neuer's had to make more saves. Like, I remember that save from Musiala in the first half by the PSG keeper. But Neuer's had to make, I mean, I don't know where the stats are there. Yeah, PSG have had 6 shots on target to Bayern's 4. Which, you know, if we're talking about chances created, all right, Bayern have had 63% possession, and obviously they have they've sat in and defended a lot, but they've actually had really good chances. I think Neuer's probably Bayern's man of the match. He's made some big saves that we've probably not really acknowledged because we're going, Bayern have got to score, Bayern have got to score, but he's made some big saves. Kane looks like he's struggling as well. I don't know whether he's carrying an injury, but Harry Kane looks like he is way off it. Have you seen the Ryan Gosling space movie, says Marge? I haven't, but apparently it's very good. If I drew you, would you consider wearing it as a mask? I have little to no talent, says Awful. Thank you very much. Please do click and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You're all very welcome if you're new. Thanks to everyone who's been sharing the video. We are heading towards 1.5 million subscribers, as you can see. And it's a big summer to come. Loads of World Cup watch-alongs. We've got the Champions League final, the FA Cup final, the last few weeks of the Premier League. And transfer news will be coming back. All the big transfer news reacted to on That's Football. Very interested to see what clubs are. I mean, look, it's heading towards a disappointing season for Bayern, but ultimately it's a disappointing season for Real Madrid. It's a disappointing season for Barcelona, Manchester City. You know, only one team wins the Champions League, and that's why it's called the Champions League. You get some bloody good teams in it. Bayern have been very good this season, but ultimately they've come up short. And look, there was a couple of controversial decisions in the first half. We haven't really spoken about them for the last half an hour, and I think that's probably the way to be. Because ultimately, I feel like PSG have been the better team. Oh, he's given a foul against Bayern there. It's quite strange. Referee has been a bit shit against Bayern. I mean, I genuinely thought that was a foul on Luis Diaz, and he ends up giving it to PSG. Watch this back here. Luis Diaz plays the 1-2. He gets fouled. Fucking hell. I mean, that's disgusting, isn't it? This ref's not even trying not to. I mean, that's shocking. He ends up booking Luis Diaz, who got body checked. Ad says he dived, bro. Mate, I know I'm wearing glasses, so I know my vision's good. Luis Diaz is running, and the PSG player absolutely body checks him. Knows exactly what he's doing. Oh, Kvaratskhelia nearly scored. Look, as I said, I do feel like PSG across the 2 legs deserve to be in the final. And I love Luis Enrique. I think he's a great coach, and I loved them winning it last year, and I think they're a brilliant advert for modern football. And they have been better than Bayern, but the referee has been crap. You know, you can want PSG to win, and you can call out the referee. He has been absolutely shit. There's no doubt about that, and that's not PSG's fault. That's just strange. Shoot to Kill was a banger, says TR66. Yeah, check it out. You can watch that film on YouTube. It's called Shoot to Kill. It was made in 1988, or Deadly Pursuit. Really good. 10 minutes. Bayern will keep going, and you can score 2 goals in 10 minutes, but it feels like it would be a bit of an injustice on PSG now because their performance has been so good. And as I said, if they get a clean sheet here, in this environment, incredible. Getting Fabian Ruiz back in midfield and playing Emery at right back has been a masterstroke for PSG. And Doué, mate, what is that? Balling in a Champions League final. Wow. I think that's a great comment, Ashish, because Fabian Ruiz, a year ago, in that midfield with Neves and Vitinha, was, you know, elite. And he's not been playing a lot of football recently, but wow. You know, tonight you can really see the difference he makes to them. He's such a cultured midfielder, isn't he? Ryle says, I may be biased, but the most impressive player performance in the Champions League I've seen was 3 Lung Park versus Pirlo. How did you rate his United career? Oh, incredible energy, like you say, and a very tidy player as well. Massively respected by his teammates and the fan base as well. Probably seen more as a bench player, but you know, he started a lot of games. Very important player. Oh, he's given a free kick there to Bayern. Edge of the box. No team has kept a clean sheet against Bayern this season, says Meme. As I said, it just shows you the tactical adaptability of PSG under Enrique, that if they want to, they can defend ridiculously well. And obviously, we know they can attack really well as well. XXVA says, I've picked your Ballers League team for Fortnite, Mark. You're a legend, mate. Actually, if anyone wants us to help win that, I mean, if you do play Fortnite, let me know, because there is this link I'm going to put in the chat for you. I completely forgot about that. It's on my Instagram story, but if you go on there and vote for us, it really does help us out. Because we might actually win something. Where was it? It's team battles on Fortnite. There it is. Copy. Cross comes in. Keeper does his job. There probably will be, I would say, 6, maybe more minutes, but might not matter. Might not matter. Kimmich. Oh, Neuer was off his line. Mendes went for it. The shot of a left back. Didn't go. Oh, God. There we go. Harry Kane is not going to have the pace to get past João Neves. Referee hasn't given a foul. He says play on. Still Harry Kane. Not pace, not really his thing. He's not going to give a foul for that either. He's just letting the game go. And he gives a foul against Bayern. To be fair, on that one, I think he could have given a foul by Kane on João Neves. If anything, the ref has been very consistent. Yeah, I popped the link in the live chat. If you do play Fortnite, do us a big favour and click and vote for Gold Devils on that link. It would be very much appreciated if you are a Fortnite player. There's some sort of Fortnite link up for Baller League, and the team that gets the most votes wins a prize, but also you can enter and win VIP access to the final at the O2, and also you get to play against other content creators like who are Fortnite managers. So if you're into Fortnite, click the link basically, vote for us and register, and you can win a VIP package to the O2 at the end of the month. But I know not everyone plays Fortnite, so that's why I've said the poll: do you play Fortnite? Yes or no? And if you do, then click the link. If you don't, ignore it, or click the link and see what it's all about. A few people say they do play it. There we go. Well, please click the link then. Be very appreciated. Remember, Baller League's on Friday night this week as well. There's an extra week this week. We're playing SDS on Friday night. If you want to get yourself down to the Copper Box in London, it'd be nice to see you there. Last few weeks, I've actually been able to like interact with the crowd as well. The first few weeks, I was too busy doing stuff. I'd never got any spare time, but met loads of people. Even some people want me to sign their shirts. I mean, this is a madness to me, but on one last week, somebody had my book to sign, which was even more strange, but there you go. Team that kept... There was actually a girl there who had flown all the way from Canada, and she knew who I was, and I went and did a picture with her. And then she said, I've flown all the way from Canada. I'm a massive fan of Sharky. Can you get him to come out and give me a picture? And the sad thing was, I knew Sharky had already left because his team had already played. And I felt bad, but, you know... I'd hoped she hadn't flown all the way from Canada to meet Sharky. That's what I was trying to think of. 4 minutes to go here. Team that kept a clean sheet at the Allianz last was Dortmund in March 2024, says Maz. Lucas Aid Lover says, I'm low-key falling asleep this game. PSG have done a job on him. I agree. I think last week's game was how you want football to be played. I think this week's game has been nowhere near that level. And I think PSG have earned the right to play like this, considering the amount of brilliant football we've seen them play. And it just shows tactical flexibility. And I think Arteta will have been hoping for a long time that Bayern would come back, because Company is not as good a coach as Enrique. They've got to hit that first time. Why did he not hit it first time? He's going for a penalty again, Lamer. I don't think that one was. I think it came to Carl and he should have hit it first time. Yeah, but I think if you are an Arsenal fan or you're Arteta, you would want Bayern because they've just got a little bit more vulnerability. PSG have also got the experience, haven't they? I mean, that's another save by Neuer. I think Neuer's made about 6 big saves in this game. Do you play Fortnite, Mark? I do have an account. Seb plays it a bit. It's João Neves again. I don't think that one was a handball because his hands were close to his chest. Is this the worst refereeing in the Champions League we've ever seen? No, there was a game between Chelsea and Barcelona at the Bridge once, and that was... Even though I wanted Barcelona to win, that's what I mean. I don't mind PSG winning this game, but I'd still think the referee's been crap against Bayern. And this could be... Oh, no. You can say the referee's been crap and not be anti-PSG, and I'm far from anti-PSG. I love Enrique, and I like what he's done here. But yeah, I wanted Barcelona to win that game against Chelsea. Was it 2009 or something? And it was disgusting. It was disgusting, the referee that night. I think there was like 2 Stonewall penalties that he didn't give. Also, that referee that Man United had in Sir Alex Ferguson's last game in the Champions League, we were beating Real Madrid, and he sent Nani off. It was never a bloody sending off. That's one of the worst decisions I've ever fucking seen. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, I wasn't old enough to remember Maradona's hand. I think if that happened in the modern game, it wouldn't happen because we've got VAR. But, I mean, I don't know how that got given either. But Thierry Henry against Ireland was bad, yeah. But that's a bad decision. I don't know whether the referee... There was no VAR there. What was that game where Van Persie got sent off for Arsenal as well for the second yellow card? That was shocking. That was ridiculous. He couldn't bloody hear. Top 11 United players that played at the Emirates says unknown. Love it. The referee may have to run for his life after the final whistle, says Ashish. Yeah, it'd be interesting to keep an eye on that. Look, ultimately, keep an eye on the referees in the World Cup because obviously you get representation from all the qualified teams. It's not their fault. Some of these referees will be playing in absolute shit leagues and they just will not be able to deal with high-end football. You will see some incredible decisions. How long's going to get? It's only 5 minutes. It's over for Bayern. It is over. I mean, they have been poor, Bayern. Here's Luis Diaz. They need one quickly, and they won't get one like that. I think there probably will be some reaction towards the referee at the end. I mean, would you react at the end of the game? I think I would. You know, it's one of the biggest games of your career. And trust me, you know you've probably played badly, which adds to the frustration. But at the stage of the game that was, if that red card had been given, or the penalty had been given, it would have been a game changer. But you know what I would say if I was Vincent Kompany? I would say, look, of course it was a game changer. But in the dressing room, I would say, you can't be reliant on referee decisions when you're playing in front of your own crowd and there's still a whole 60 minutes of the game to go. And we still didn't score. So, yeah, okay, the referee's not been great. But it's 11 against 11 and we haven't scored a goal. Drogba thinks that claim is a disgrace, says Slazy. And I've got to say, I think João Neves, Ruiz, Vitinha, it might not be the performance that you're used to seeing them do. Same with Kvaratskhelia as well, but their defensive effort and output has been absolutely incredible. It really has. And this is not typically how PSG play, but the adaptability of those players and more importantly the coach has been impressive here. You know, the PSG don't play like this every week. Look at them last week. They scored 5 fucking goals. So they're a scary team, PSG. They're a scary team, how adaptable they are. Davies' penalty last week as well, says Connor. Van Persie's sending off was Barcelona 2007, says Quantum. Don't forget the red card we got against Bayern in the second leg where Nani was cooking Bayern and we eventually lost to a Robin Wonder goal as well, says Ashish. Yeah, that Nani sending off though in Sir Alex's last season. Kane. Oh, one back. 1 minute. Now then. If they do this, it's Kane. Now, if they do this, have they left it too late? He's onside. Is there time? Is there time? Get the ball, says Savage. It's a lovely finish by Kane, by the way. Half a chance and he spins and he turns. That's a lovely goal by Kane. I mean, that's a lovely goal by Kane. There's nothing on there. I don't even think that's bad defending. He's just on the half turn and Dembele looks away. There's not even a minute to go here. Probably should have been more time added on as well. I think that even in the first 5 minutes, Pacho was down for about 4. So, but you never do, to be fair, in Europe, I quite like it. They don't add loads and loads of time on. They never have. They've got to move this ball, Bayern. I mean, come on, you've got to get the ball forward. Oh, and I think Elise has had the shittest game I've ever seen. I mean, I watch a lot of Bundesliga, and I've watched a lot of them in the Champions League, and Elise, to me, is one of the best players in the world. That performance by him, if I was giving a player rating for Elise today, I think I'd give him a 4. He's been absolutely crap. Like, I'm shocked about how bad Elise was tonight. I hope he plays like that in the World Cup, because, well, they've still got Dembele, Doué. Yeah, that penalty decision becomes even worse now, doesn't it? Because PSG win by 1 goal. If they do it, Bayern have got to move it here. They've got to whip the cross in. He can't get it in. Referee's going to blow. And he blows. He blows. And it's PSG and Enrique who will be back in the final of the Champions League. Referee's got his yellow card out for Kimmich. PSG fans are ecstatic. Referee looks absolutely chuffed to bits. He does not look intimidated at all, that referee. He actually looks very happy. He's walking around with a big smile on his face. I don't think he does. He's oblivious. He's okay. I think some people were worried about the referee. I think he's absolutely fine. Great to see Luis Enrique celebrating like that. PSG have been superb. You can't deny it. Vincent Kompany's having a word with the referee at the moment. They're back in the final. It'd be a good final as well. I think it'd be a good final. Arsenal against PSG, I think it's going to be a cracking final. And look, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're playing the holders. If you beat them, fair play. It's the first time you won the European Cup in your life. But also, you're playing the holders. You know, you are playing the best team out there. There we go. I don't think there's any drama with the referee. Don't forget, tomorrow night we're back live as well. We've got the Europa League semi-final. Tune in for that tomorrow. I think the atmosphere will be brilliant at Villa Park. Thank you so much, everybody who's tuned in. Remember, we've got a massive summer coming up for you with the World Cup, so make sure you subscribe. We've got the Champions League final. We've got loads of Premier League games at the weekend. Arsenal, West Ham. If you are a Fortnite player, please, on your way out, click the link in the video description, in the live chat, and vote Gold Devils. You can also enter the competition to win VIP tickets to Baller League final. There's loads of added prizes, really brilliant. So if you're into Fortnite, please, on the way out, click that link in the live chat and vote for us. That would be great. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Take care.